necessary for all beings to dissolve the imperial bands which have connected them with other star systems, and to assume among the powers of the galaxy the separate and equal station to which the laws of the force and nature entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of sentient being requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the rebellion.
When, in the course of official imperial events, should the subjects of the highest and most noble emperor conform to assume a rebellion, which is seditious and treacherous, the emperor cannot and shall not allow sedition to go unpunished in order to keep peace throughout the galaxy, securing the millions of star systems' prosperity and security, which further reinforces the need to comply with the emperor's command.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all beings are created equal, except sand people, and are endowed by their midichlorians with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of the hatred of Jar Jar Binks. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among beings deriving their just powers from the Force, that when any form of space government becomes destructive of these ends, or becomes destructive of another planet, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and its Death Star, and to institute government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its force in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their smuggling and happiness. The Force indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be rebelled against for light and transient causes, such as a dispute with the Trade Federation, and accordingly all experience has shown that humanoids are more disposed to suffer while stormtroopers are sufferable than to right themselves by defeating the empires to which they are enslaved.
The emperor holds that the subjects of his just reign are equal in that they remain loyal to the emperor and his direct counterparts, including, but not limited to, his apprentice and swift hand of justice, Darth Vader, the honorable Grand Moff Tarkin, and any stormtrooper who may give them any command. These noble authoritative figures, and all under their command, are to be seen as direct extensions of the emperor himself, who will not deal with treachery lightly. The submission of Alderaan was an example of those who resist the power of the emperor and the imperial empire. That sedition is the utmost form of protest and is illegal and unlawful in the galaxy under Emperor Palpatine's rule. The acts of sedition include, and are more extensive than, smuggling illegal blaster weapons, raiding imperial supply transports, directly attacking stormtrooper garrisons, etc. These are causes for more security in the systems that have shown that these scoundrels are unwilling to coexist with the emperor and his deputies. And depending on the severity of the situation in the given system, martial law is instituted and the authority is given to the standing army in the system, its battalion leader, and the stormtroopers therein.
But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, as well as an unsettling number of massacres, pursuing invariably the same droids, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute dictatorship, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such empire, as well as the royal guard for their future security. Such has been the bloody suffering of this galaxy, and such is now the necessity that constrains them to overthrow their former systems of empire. The history of this present emperor of the galaxy is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, as well as a couple holocausts thrown in for good measure over this galaxy. To prove this, let the Force act upon a candid collection of worlds.
Should any infraction of the law be discovered, or minor disturbance, it is the law, it is the Force-given duty of the Moffs of the system, it is the will of the Emperor that any and all infractions of the law during a time of many treasonous acts be made example of by force. Such is the will of the Emperor that the planet Alderaan was subdued. This is the duty and the will of the Imperial Empire to protect and defend, to the best of its ability, the security and happiness of its subjects. The facts that have been submitted by these traitors have been proven wrong and misleading.
He has dissolved the Galactic Senate for opposing with Wampa-like firmness his consolidation of power.
The Emperor dissolved the Senate due to the immensity of its corruption, thereby protecting the will of the people.
He has made Moffs dependent on the will of the Sith for the tenure of their offices and the amount of payment of their space salaries.
The Emperor has rewarded those loyal to his commands, especially those who excel completing his will with the utmost efficiency.
For quartering large bodies of stormtroopers among us,
The Emperor must ensure there are no more insurrections.
For blockading our travel between all parts of the galaxy.
The Emperor must uphold his own law against smuggling.
For imposing Order 66 on the Jedi without our consent.
The Emperor destroyed a dangerous and corrupt religion.
For transporting us to Tatooine to be frozen in carbonate for our smuggling offenses.
The Emperor must make an example of the defiant smuggler Han Solo in order to uphold order.
For suspending our own Galactic Senate and declaring the Imperial Senate invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever.
The Emperor has dissolved and suspended legislatures that are representing those who wish to declare themselves independent of the Empire.
He has plundered our cantinas, ravaged our forest moons, burnt our aunt and uncles, and destroyed a planet.
The Emperor has done what he must to protect the integrity of the Empire and must eliminate every threat when traitors might be found.
He is, at this time, hiring large groups of alien bounty hunters to complete the works of death, carbonite, and tyranny, already begun with circumstances of cruelty and destruction, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages of long ago, and totally unworthy of head of a civilized galaxy.
The Emperor must use whatever means necessary to crush the vicious rebellion. Due to shortage of stormtroopers and the unwillingness of volunteers in the systems closest to the treacherous criminals, he must resort to the extreme measures of mercenaries.
He has excited interplanetary insurrections against us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of the Outer Rim, the merciless Tusken Raider savages, of whose known rule of warfare is an indistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, species, and wiring.
The Emperor has used his intelligence to directly impact the rebellion in favor of the Imperial Empire, in light that it could bring an end to this wretched bloodshed.
In every age of this imperialism, we have rebelled for restoration in the most humble terms. Our repeated efforts have been answered by only repeated battles. An emperor whose character is thus marked in every act which may define a Sith Lord is unfit to be the ruler of a free galaxy. Nor have we been lacking in attention to our galactic brethren. We have warned them from time to time of their attempts by their chancellor to extend unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our founding of the Republic. We have appealed to their native justice and love for liberty, and we have hologrammed them by the ties of our common galactic roots to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably sever our connections and communications. They too have been deaf to the call of justice and of the liberty. We must therefore accept the necessity, which denounces our rebellion, and hold them, as we hold the rest of the galaxy, enemies in war, in peace, still enemies.
In every stage of this insubordination, the Emperor has been merciful and generous to those who dared to question his rule over the galaxy. He has grown tired of the rebellion's petulant demands and vicious incarcerations on Imperial property. The Emperor denounces these traitors and urges them to surrender, as he will be most forgiving to those who will relinquish their ties with the rebellion. The Emperor is the leader that the galaxy deserves and the leader that the galaxy needs. The Emperor is the voice of reason and justice and security in the galaxy, without flaw. He has always protected his loyal subjects and punished those who bid him ill will. The galaxy is free to choose whatever path it will, obey the fair and just laws of the great Emperor, or, should they choose, follow the path of deceit and mutiny, facing the swift punishment of Lord Vader and his limitless resources. The Emperor will no longer permit revolt, and he will assert his position as ruler of the galaxy without question, and his apprentice, Lord Vader, will personally crush the rebellion.
We, therefore, the representative of the Alliance to Restore the Republic, in General Congress assembled on Yavin, appealing to the supreme power of the Force for the rectitude of our rebellion, do in the name and by authority of the good beings of this galaxy, solemnly publish and declare that this united galaxy is, and of right ought to be, a free and self-governing galaxy, and that they are absolved from all allegiance to the Galactic Empire, and that all imperial connection between them and the Empire is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that a free and self-governing galaxy, it has the full power to levy galactic civil war, form the Alliance, destroy Death Stars, and do all acts and cool Jedi mind tricks which free beings may of right do. For the state of declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of the Force and lightsabers, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred belief that Han shot first.
The Emperor, therefore, the sole and Force-chosen leader of the galaxy, in his own cabinet, assembled in the Death Star, appealing to the powerful dark side of the Force and the maintenance of the Imperial Empire, by the authority of the most honorable and just Emperor Palpatine, solemnly publishes and declares that the rebel scum is and must be subject to eradication from the stars, that they are an illegal and unlawful organization, that all Imperial connection with the group will be erased, and that any interactions with the Federation will be unlawful. The Rebel Alliance will be crushed under the might of Imperial forces, the wrath of Darth Vader, the pure destructive power of the Death Star battle, and the pure destructive power of the Death Star battle station. With a firm fist, the Emperor and his allies will destroy the rebels and confiscate their lightsabers, because lightsabers are really cool, and I'm looking forward to adding new. Wait, I screwed that up. With a firm fist, the Emperor and his allies will destroy the rebels and confiscate their lightsabers, because lightsabers are really cool, and I'm really looking forward to adding a new addition to my collection. With a firm decision, the Emperor pledges to dissolve and decimate this corrupt Rebel Alliance. Also, the Emperor would like to point out that Luke and Leia are siblings and they kissed, so that's really gross, you guys.